All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am drawing the FF. That's right, the Fantastic Four. I'm starting with Sue, Invisible Woman, and trying to make sure that I have room for everything. Now, for women, I don't use the light bulb for the torso. I kind of use a figure 8 or a number 8. So now I'm putting all the features in, kind of outlining the basic shapes of each part. Here's the leg. Have that foot coming up and towards the viewer. Have that back foot going back. Got the hand, make it open. She's riding invisible disc. Drawing the disc in now. Got her shape. Now I'm saying, okay, Ben is going to be the next one. And by the way, I did do a sketch to kind of get my bearings as to what I was going to do. A thumbnail is what they call it. Real thick character right there. Big old hand, big old arm. Small head, though, relative to the size of his body. That makes a big old person. What up, though? Drawing this. All right. Drawing this leg, drawing this foot, drawing this back arm. Got to put that fist back there. Remember, he only has 3 fingers. All right, done with his shape. Now I'm putting in the eye line and the center line on the faces so that I can kind of dictate which direction they will be looking in, because I want everybody to look in a different direction. So now I'm drawing the man himself, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. So Invisible Woman is looking down to one side, and the Thing is looking up to that same side. Reed Richards is looking up to the opposite side. But now I'm drawing a hand that he has flexed in front of everybody. So I'm making sure the thumb overlaps Sue and the pinky overlaps Ben. And I have him where I want him. So now I'm going to do Johnny Storm. Putting the hand, arm, and all that in there. Trying to figure out how I'm going to make him let me change that leg. All right, putting the arm, making sure I draw through. And now I'm saying, okay, since he's going that way and I want to kind of encapsulate this in a nice little circle, then I have the fire going behind everybody. So now that I've drawn everything where I want it, the next stage is to erase all of what I've drawn, just enough so that I can still see the outline. But it looks clean, but I still can really use everything I put down as a guideline. So I'm not necessarily tracing. What I'm doing is I'm using what I've put down as a guide, and now I can put the actual details in. That hip and the thigh. All right. I was trying to see if I was going to change that hand. Nah, I'm going to keep it the same. Got those opposites going on. One arm up, one arm back. Putting the face on old Ben. That's the thing. All right, got the bicep, tricep, forearm. Get this fist popping. 3-finger fist right there. Superhero style. Yeah. That big old thigh, big old calf, big old foot. Got that boot right there. And got the fist angled going back. So basically I'm going through the same characters, the same sequence. I'm just adding those extra details as I go. Making sure I got the mouth, the face. Oh, and I'm talking on the phone at the same time. So one way to really kind of indicate perspective is the overlap, and that's why I had that big hand overlapping Sue and Ben, so that it is very evident that it is coming forward. Now I'm getting Johnny. Johnny is blazing. One leg up, one leg down. Classic superhero pose. Hand extended out. Fire all around. And then the fire trail going behind everybody. Making it a nice graphic circle of art. I'm also looking at reference from movie posters as well, so that I can make sure I get the suit right, the suit from the movie. First steps. The 4 in the middle. And this is my interpretation of the suit, my comic book interpretation of the suit. Now I'm putting in shadows, making sure I have a light source, and I'm basically just doing a light source from straight above. I just made a decision, okay, this part of the suit will be darker than the other part, and I will treat it differently. Yeah, I'm taking notes from my father. All right. Man, you get everything in this video. You get people coming in my house, former students. You get me drawing. You get me on the phone. You get me taking notes. Still drawing. I had forgotten that glove is white, so I had to erase that shading. All right. Now this is different because I was going Invisible Woman, The Thing, Mr. Fantastic, and then going to Johnny, but I did a little different. And part of that was because I'm drawing from left to right with the shading, because I don't want to smear anything with my hand on top of the paper on stuff that I've already shaded. So that's why I did that. Shading the collarbone, rib cage, chest. Now that fist going back. Forearm. I'm putting in the detail of those suits, how those suits look. If you notice, I did the shading, and even though part is going to be white and part is going to be dark blue, I still kind of did the shading on it. Now I am inking. This is the outline. So after I do the basic shapes, I use that as a guide. But after the penciling part, once I tighten the pencils up, I'm really kind of actually tracing now. Now, that does not mean that I'm not changing things. I am still changing things and tighten up things. But I'm more likely at this point to just draw over what I have and just trace it. Get the teeth, the tongue. Being very deliberate. I think I was talking to my mother right there. You get everything in this one right here, boy. So now with me drawing those lines of the boot and the outfit, you kind of get an indication of what direction those cylinders are going. You allow your eye to really understand more of what I'm doing with the figure. All right. Got her face looking down off the page. And I'm really not dealing with the harsh lines right now, or the shadows rather. I'm just mainly concentrating on the outline. Getting the suit down. It's actually coming together. Now, some artists, they are finished with their drawing after they do the outline portion. That's not necessarily my style, but I have been contemplating on possibly doing that and wondering, how would that be? Would that be cool or not? Just to simply have the outline. I know one thing, it would definitely be faster. Because after I did this part, I'd almost be through. And do more solid blacks, but I'm such a fan of the feathering, that I picked up from image artists and Terry Austin's ink over John Byrne. That little pause there was, man, that forearm is big. It would have been all right if I stretched it up or did something, but I didn't. I tried to make it look normal, and I made it look big. So I made a mental note right there that I was going to do a little trick to fix that. I really like how I did that hand and forearm behind that Reed Richard arm. Now for the fire trail, where once I just had a line, now I'm actually putting a fire look on it. Attempting to make it look more graphic, like a circle. All right, now I'm doing some shading. I want to smooth that hip and thigh out. Some rim lighting up under there. And normally if I only had one figure, I would use a paintbrush tip, but I am just kind of using this pen to get the thick and thin lines for the outline, the silhouette. Because the figures are smaller. And that separation in those invisible discs that she's on. And now it's sort of shaping up. Oh man, see, sometimes I get lost and I'm just looking at it too. But anyway, I'm doing what I call the calligraphy line, or what my professor used to call it in college, where the outline gets thick and thin. That's how cartoons and comic book artists do it. I noticed I needed to make that chest a little bigger, and how do I fix that? Of course, with rendering. Now you can't even tell. The power of rendering. Gotta love it. And what I noticed was Reed's suit was different. Had a dark top instead of that white top. Now I'm taking this calligraphy line as an opportunity to fix that forearm. The hand is what it is. It's a little big, but hey. There go the rendering. We're gonna save it. Ron Mac meant to do that. That was just a twist in his body. And basically, by me making part of that larger, that outline on his stretched out torso larger than the line that I initially had drawn, it really covered that mistake well. And the white glove. Get some rim lighting on it. Light shading. Knuckles and joints on the finger. Want that hand to really stand out. And I know just the way to do it, I'm thinking in my head right now. So another way to use this calligraphy line is the closer things get to you, the bigger you can make the calligraphy line. So that's part of what I'm thinking of as well. So I got Sue, I got Reed Richards down. Now I am putting in the rocks on the thing. I hadn't drawn a lot of Fantastic Four. Honestly, this may have been the second time I've ever drawn these characters. But these are the first family, or they are the first family of Marvel, so. Stan and Jack did their thing. Kind of liking how it's coming out. The more characters you have, the less detail you'll have with all of them. And I always try to have great poses, at least for everyone. And I think I did a decent job. Kind of playing with these outlines. All the feathering. Feathering out from a dark spot. Shading down. Giving it the illusion of roundness and detail. Give a little rim light on the glove. Make sure that wrist is stoned out. And that calligraphy line really is a finishing line. Once you put that in, it just does something to the picture that really makes it look good. Ah, there's my magic. My pen tip. Honestly, I should have been doing all of it with the pen tip. Paint tip, I'm sorry. Paint tip, because it would have gone much faster. I'll put in some shadows. Get a little rounder feel with the feathering. Yeah, got the light bulb. You can see the light bulb, can't you? All right. Now I got that boot. If you notice, I'll put the leg, the calf that's inside the boot. I'll shade it to the inside and shade the boot to the outside to add the thickness over it. In the bottom. Again, if I were not doing all the shading, I could be through after this calligraphy outline step. But it's always fun. It's always fun. And like most artists, I get carried away. Carried away. So now it's time for the rendering. Got to get on that thigh. Feather out, get that knee. What's crazy is if he did not have this on, it would probably just be real simple. I'm actually giving him more definition by him being in a suit. It's all good, though. It's all good, Ben. I got you, man. Now, that is the fun part about the rendering. You just kind of make it up as you go. By make it up, I mean I didn't pencil none of this in. If I were to do a tight pencil, I would have, but this was a loose pencil. And all this stuff I'm doing now. Well, some of it is there, but some of it isn't. So I'm saying to myself, this is going to be lighter. So let me have my lines a little further apart, especially on the edge. But as you can see, the center line goes down to the center of the bottom of the torso. Like I mentioned, I don't know if the collarbone would actually be seen on Ben Graham. I don't know. I have to check that out. All right. That looks pretty good for Ben. Getting some of the shading on the fist. Now I got 3 characters down, 1 more to go. Johnny Storm. Oh, I guess I need to do the face. Top of the lip dark, or top lip dark. Get that jawbone. And get the collar. All right. So on here, I'm just doing sort of an internal, like, I'm looking at the figure and I'm saying the internal part is glowing. That's sort of how I see fire characters and other things. Like, so Johnny Storm, his insides are glowing, and as you look outside, it just, the inside is dark rather, and the outside is glowing. So now the center of the leg is going to be more glowing. Yep. Simple. Bam. Had to fix that torso. It was a little uneven. All right. I think my pen is going out too. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The Fantastic Four, first steps.
Leron McAdoo found joy in drawing superheroes, but he was an illiterate 3rd grader. So suddenly his mother said she would not buy another comic book until he could read them. McAdoo rose above being afraid of words to to getting paid for words. Now he uses words to get people Mctivated about their own superpower. He drew strength from drawing. This is Comicbook Bold. To see his comic commissions and comic art, go to pinterest.com at that hip hop and select Leron McAdoo art.